We've got some fresh
Hey,
new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing
I'm
some
Luis.
things that I know
And you're
you
listening to the
haven't heard
Content is
before.
Profit podcast.
So, how do businesses and creators like us, who did not cheat with hacks and tactics and don't want to be stuck in the content wheel of death, how do we build a modern media team and profit from our content?
These creators' economy, pre-filled templates, and content calendars have become the solution for those that are not willing to put in the work and build a real business. Those that get rewarded are the ones that create and control their own process.
That is right. Content can be a distraction or your biggest lever. Here, you learn to develop the systems to create consistently, build trust with your audience, and get the attention of those that are willing to give you money.
Go to contentisprofit.com, get started today, and become part of the community. Let's go!
Yeah, let's
All
go.
right.
Be part of the Content is Profit family. We can't wait to have you in there. Today,
Tell me.
we have an incredible guest, and we're going to be talking all
Tell me.
about the one call sale lessons from the world's #1 authority on trust-based selling.
Woo! I think people are excited about this. I am
know.
excited about it. Are you excited about this?
I am extremely excited about this. I have a few personal sales stories,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that I need to definitely reshape my whole selling path.
I know. This is
but
going to be
see.
so
We'll
good.
dive into those.
Before we dive into that, Fonzie, do we have a sponsor today?
Indeed, we do. Thank you so much for asking. Today's
You're welcome.
sponsor is your own, the BIZBROS.
Let's go.
Yes, we sponsor our own podcast with content momentum.
That's right.
If you produce a long-form piece of content just like this one that you're listening to or watching, and you need help with the multi-purposing, you need a plug-and-play team, we're here for you. Just make sure you send us a message at BIZBROSCO on Facebook, on Instagram.
Let's go. And guys, do us a favor and go ahead and follow the show, because every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, these incredible, valuable conversations are dropping directly to your phone, so you can actually go ahead and take action and create momentum, revenue, your life. The one that you want is right there at the palm of your hand. So go ahead and follow the show and on social media at BIZBROSCO. That was good. That was good.
Absolutely.
Was that good, Fonzie? Yeah? Okay.
And if
That's good.
today's guest help you take one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share this episode, because you might be doing the same exact thing for somebody else. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
Legend alert. That's right. Today's guest is an incredible author and entrepreneur that could be considered as royalty in the world of sales. If you dread the feeling or even the thought of rejection, then this is the conversation for you.
That is right. Today's guest is the world's #1 authority when it comes to trust-based selling. He will help you break through your fears of selling and tap into your true authenticity. I have the feeling that this one will go into the Content is Profit Hall of Fame.
He's also the author of the bestseller Unlock the Sales Game, Lessons from Toby, and currently working on the One Call Sale. He also hosts a live show called Stomp the Guru. I hope you are ready as we are.
That's right. Without further ado, please welcome best-selling author and the world's #1 authority on trust-based selling, Ari Galper! Welcome, Ari.
Hey guys, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you so much. For those listening, Ari is joining us from Australia right now. It's 6 a.m. over there. So thank you so much for, the commitment to your message and to sharing with the world all the lessons.
No problem. I always do salsa dancing in the morning anyway, so that works out just fine. No problem.
That's perfect. I know, and we always do salsa dancing at the end of our Friday. So, I mean, it's perfect. It's meant to be.
Right? Who
Exactly, yeah.
who needs coffee at this point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Ari, I'm extremely excited to have this conversation. Obviously, because a lot of the people that tune into the show, they're in this world of obviously entrepreneurship, trying to build their own business, their own systems, right? Obviously, and from day one, we've talked about content being that vehicle to facilitate the sale. But at the end of the day, sales is like this topic that not a lot of people want to really talk about, and it's so necessary to building a business. So here, that's the reason we brought you, because Fonzie needs it. That's the real reason. But why don't you share with us a little bit, for those that don't know you, a little bit of your story? Like how does this start for you?
Sure. I'll kind of give you the backstory behind the concept of trust-based selling that I've been specializing in the last 20 years. And I think the story might connect us all together here.
Yes.
Especially Fonzie, his stories. But about 20 years ago, I was a sales manager in a software company. and we launched the first online website data collection tools called Google Analytics. Now, you probably heard of that, I'm sure.
Wow.
But we launched the first product years ago, and I was managing 18 people. The big leads came across my desk, the big opportunities. There's one contact gave us a call. I got the lead, called him back. Great conversation, big company. There are lots of websites. If I close this one sale, it will double the revenue of the company in one transaction. That's how big it was.
Wow.
Big opportunity. So he agreed to a conference call and a demo to show it, so we can show him our product on the line. So the day finally came, Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in the conference room with my CEO. I closed the door behind me. There's a big, long conference table in the middle of the table, and it's a speakerphone, the old school ones, like Star Trek conference call phones. And I dial the number to call in for the conference line. He picks it up. He says, "Hey, Ari." I said, "Hey, how's it going?" "Good." And he says to me, "Let us tell you, Ari, who's with us here in the room." And I was like, "Oh, didn't realize there'd be someone else in the room." Next thing I hear is, "My name's Chris. I'm CEO." I was like, "Oh, this is good." "My name's Mike. I'm head of IT." This is even better. "My name's Julie. I'm head of global marketing." Oh, perfect. Everybody on this call was a decision maker.
Yep.
Right? They're all there at one time. It's going to happen. It's going to happen today because they're all there.
Yeah.
So I described who I was, and I started to give a live demo over the web of their websites being collected in advance to show them all the live data in real time.
Yeah.
And so I'm showing this to them, clicking around, and I start hearing this noise in the phone call like, "Wow, this is great. This is amazing. We love it. This is great. I can't believe it." They start asking me all kinds of questions. How does it work? How do we install it? How do we get going? And of course, I had all the right kinds of answers. There was so much chemistry on this phone call.
Yeah.
It was like a love fest on the phone. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm assuming no sweaty pits. Fonzie gets the sweaty pits all the
Yeah,
time.
I get super nervous on those.
Yeah, there's like no resistance. They had all the right kinds of questions. It was like the perfect call. And I'm doing my thing. And I got the high five back here from the boss in the corner. He's ordering his next car he wants to order with the money he's going to be making from the deal. He's on the phone in the corner of the room, the car he wants to buy. And honestly, this is such an amazing call. I was on a total high. An hour goes by, and my contact says to me, "Ari, this is great. We love it. Give us a call a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward." I said to myself, "Oh, thank you, God." I was like so happy. So I said my goodbyes. And we all said goodbye, and I took my arm to the phone to hit the off button. As I'm reaching for the off button on the phone, by complete accident, now it's a divine intervention, my thumb hit the mute button instead of the off button. They were right next to each other, right? Really designed tightly.
Yeah.
And I hit the wrong button, and a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone. In that split second, a voice inside of me said, "Ari, go to the dark side. Be a fly in the wall. Go where no one's ever gone in the world of sales before. Listen, and you got nothing to lose."
Yeah.
So I pulled my phone back. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call.
Oh boy.
Now, this is not a trick question, but what do you expect them to have said after a call like that? What would you imagine they would have said?
I mean, today, like after that story, I'm like, please, like, yes, we're sending, we're done. This is the whole process. What's going to happen? But now my inner voice is saying something different. I'm scared. I'm sweating now. I'm like so nervous. Like, what happened?
I mean, for the tone of the story, how it changed, I'm thinking it didn't go as well. It wasn't what you wanted to hear, probably.
Well, you'd expect it to be like you said, hey, let's good, let's go forward, let's plan this thing.
Yeah.
But here's what they said, word for word. I'll never forget it. It's why we're here today. What they said was this. They said, "We're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information, and make sure we shop someplace else cheaper." Knife in heart twist. I was in a state of shock. I was like snapped out of it. I hit the off button. I looked at the wall and I said to myself, what did I do wrong? I was professional. I was competent. I wasn't pushy. Great product. And the first big idea hit me. That was this, that somewhere along the way, it has become socially acceptable not to tell the truth to people who sell, right?
Wow.
It's okay to say things like, "Sounds good. Send me information." "Oh, we're definitely interested." Wait. Send us a what? A proposal. Without having any intention of buying at all, right?
Wow.
And that was a big wake up call. And I asked myself, why were they afraid to just tell me the truth? I'd be okay with that. And I realized at that moment, here's the breakthrough, that I realized there's an invisible kind of river of pressure that flows underneath each step of your process with someone.
Yeah.
And if you're not aware of the pressure and removing it the whole time, what'll happen is they'll put their guard up. They won't tell you the truth, and you'll be chasing what I call ghosts your entire time, chasing people, calling them back without calling back. That became our whole shift, where the concept is don't focus on the sale, but focus on trust building.
Ooh.
Wow.
So thanks for sharing that very painful moment, because I can relate. Like I'll share something. We haven't shared this on the show, by the way. Like this has been like all behind cameras. Exclusive. Hold on. Exclusive. Okay. And it was a very similar experience, right? Like we made contact, right? And we had this amazing guy on the show, right? And then we established a really cool relationship with him, like the other decision maker and the third decision maker. And this was a massive network, right? Of the type of clients that we work with. And we were, I'm not going to lie, 8 different calls, right?
Wow.
And we dove in, we did the behind the scenes tour. We talked future plans. This was going to be the thing that was going to allow us to grow immensely, like more than half the sales, like at that point, right? Really big opportunity, right? Join their community, start interacting with everyone, and then complete ghosted. It was after 8 calls, even we had a onboarding session scheduled on the calendar, ready to go. This is the icebreaker project that we're gonna kill it and do amazing. And then that's it. And it's been 5 months later, and nothing, right? Nothing. We thought about what was it? Sending a little casket that says your silence is killing us.
It's killing us.
But that's it. Like this is why your story resonates so much, even though yours was like that one call. For us was 8, and it was very painful, right?
Yeah.
And
now I'm putting like the pieces together. I feel like that's what they were going for. It's like, let's get more information and then see how we can do it cheaper, maybe.
Yeah. So here's my follow up, right? Like probably a lot of people listening to this like are scared to death of a situation like that. You know, luckily we had some people on the pipeline. We had people that we were working with. We had systems in place to continue, but that for us was a big blow. I mean, emotionally, that was a wreck, or it was challenging to go over that, right? And then it can be really challenging to get back on track, good momentum, good energy, continue to do that. So I am completely invested now. Like, not that I wasn't, but I'm like, please tell me more, Ari. Like, how do we solve this? Because if you solve that for us, you're gonna solve it for so many other people.
Yeah. Look, it is dehumanizing to be treated that way and not be taken advantage of like that, and specifically not told the truth. And when I realized that we've been taught by the gurus and all the old conditioning over the years that our job was to chase the sale and pursue people, and there's this drug in our bodies, it's called hopium. And that hopium is we get excited about the opportunity. We have lots of calls. We're like, oh, it's gonna work out great. We're so excited, and then they just drop off, you know. And that's the whole change and shift I've been working on for the last 20 years, and help lots of people to realize that your goal from now on is not to pursue the sale. Your goal is to build enough trust with somebody where they feel comfortable opening up to you and telling you the truth.
Yes.
If you focus on that, what happens is people go away who aren't going to buy from you, and the ones that are serious would. And that's what we'll talk about today, how to go about doing that, what's the process, the languaging to activate that in real time.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, by the way, like I'm just gonna put it right here. Like all the links, Ari's links are gonna be right below. Just scroll down and start clicking them as you listen to the show, because you don't want to miss on all the information that we're gonna share. So how does that moment, like obviously you were working for a company, right? How does that moment shaped the next 20 years? Like what action did you take? You were like, this is so infuriating. Like, was it immediate that you made that move into building what you're building now, or it took a little bit more of that, right?
Great question. So once I got over the shock of it, about a week later, I quit my job.
Wow.
And I said, this is enough. This is not the way people should be treated. Why can't people just tell people the truth? Why all the games? Why all the lost revenue? Why dragging so many people through the process that we are accepted as supposed to be normal? To me, it's abnormal. So what I realized was my mission is to get out there and help entrepreneurs, people who sell, content creators, learn how to sell with integrity and authenticity that can be successful without sacrificing their own self in the process. And that became our whole premise behind what we call Unlock the Sales Game, which is to get out of that game of chasing ghosts and having great calls with people, and they sound good, and then you have to chase them afterwards and really get focused in on those that are a fit with you.
Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is so important. I don't know how you dealt with that rejection, honestly. That has been one of the biggest issues, right? And you guys shared with us a video that I still got to finish watching, language barrier once in a while. But you were talking about eradicating the idea of rejection, right? And I remember the first time I was going to do like some cold calling, right? This was about 5 years ago. We started working with restaurants at first, and we decided, okay, I'm going to just start calling restaurants here in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm going to start pitching them, or digital marketing services, the ones that we're doing at the moment. And I grabbed this headset with a mic, and zero experience at the moment, just so you know. The only thing I have sold to that point was a $34 a month membership for soccer for little kids in daycare. That was it, right?
The parents were buying, not the kids.
Yeah, the parents were buying the membership.
Okay.
Correctly.
Go.
But it goes like this. I put on the headset and I start walking back and forth in my room just by myself, just trying to mentalist myself. I'm like, you can do this. It's okay. If they say no, it's totally okay, right? I was just so scared of the feeling of people saying no, literally, or no thank you, or the owner is not here, just call back later, or we don't want to talk to you, right? I was so scared of that. So it caught my attention when you were talking about eradicating that feeling of rejection. And I'm sure that is very tightly needed to the trust, right, that you're developing, but at the same time I'm thinking it has to probably do with something internal inside of the person that is selling in this case. So I'm curious, how can we start eradicating that fear?
Well, you're on the right track. So what I discovered is that rejection actually is triggered by certain things you say and do unconsciously that cause the other person to push back on you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about those today. And we can go through examples of that today as well, of what are we doing we aren't even aware of that cause the other person to kind of not tell us the truth. And if you break that, crack that string, crack that code, you make a huge breakthrough in your business.
Absolutely.
Tell us more, please.
Yeah,
Tell us more.
I'm curious. Are those some of those principles that you mentioned to us?
Yeah, there's some core principles behind our system, and I'll walk you through that now if you like. That'll kind of give you guys some insights and some examples that people can use right away to break that string, break that connection.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
I love it. So before we dive into those, right? Like, so I used to manage fitness studios, right? And the people that were coming to work for us, they came under the impression that they were a front desk person, but no, they needed to sell memberships, right? And it was such a challenge, right? Because sales somehow has a negative connotation, right? Like we now believe, like FONZI and I, right? Is our belief, like it's our duty to actually go ahead and make this happen because we believe that our product is the best there is in our category. That's it. And it adds so much value and it brings results, right? But it took us years to get to that mental level to believe in what we've done mixed with something else, right? And now we're coming to this point where words matter big time, right? And there's, like you mentioned, these indicators, right, that we might not be aware of in these conversations, right, that if we are and we start making a conscious decision on adapting and changing and evolving, it's going to make our life easier, right? So I just wanted to paint that picture for the people listening to, because they might be in a position where they might be training some of their staff members. They might be selling themselves their products, right? And this is not taught enough. Like it's not out there because we have this image of the sales process that, like you mentioned earlier, like, do we need to chase this out? No. So what are some of these principles? Now we can go back into what are some of those principles that are going to help us through that process?
Yeah. So the first core principle behind our system and philosophy is the idea of always be diffusing pressure, taking pressure out of the conversation so they feel they can trust you. And how you do that is we developed our own what we call trust-based languaging, not scripting, but words and phrases that trigger trust immediately in real time so they feel comfortable opening up to you. Let me give you a great scenario, like your gym or whatever. Let's say you're on the phone with somebody for a first conversation, and they're a qualified, they're a good fit for your product or your services. There's good chemistry there, good conversation. A call comes to an end. Normally in sales, when we sit in the call like that, we say things like, hey, how about we get together? How about sign up? How about we're taught to move things which direction?
Towards the
sale.
Towards
That's
the sale,
what our mindset. Our mindset is move them forward, right?
Yep.
But what happens if you try and move somebody forward at the beginning, they aren't ready yet? What do you break right there with them for the beginning?
Trust, right off the bat.
Exactly. Yes. So same scenario, but our thinking, our mindset, our languaging. Call is going well, good chemistry, could be a good fit. Call comes to an end. Rather than saying, hey, how about we move forward? What we say instead is this. We say, where do you think we should go from here? And I'll say it again. Where do you think we should go from here? Now, how does that change the dynamic of the moment? What are they thinking right now?
I'm like, let's move forward. Like, if it's a fit, right? Like,
it feels like you're handing now the power to the other person, right?
Correct. We're shifting them. And when you say to somebody, where do you think we should go from here? Usually they're in a state of shock.
Yeah.
They can't believe somebody in BIZBROS actually asked them what they want to do. That's unheard of in selling.
Yeah.
And usually, you know what happens? Usually they say things like, I've got one more question. Or wait, what about this? You know, it comes out the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Your new goal of your sales process is not to focus on the sale anymore. Your goal is build enough trust with them in the beginning so they feel comfortable opening up to you so you can build trust with them and have a good process.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like that phrase right there, where do you think we should go from here?
Wait.
It
Golden boulder alert.
Yes, absolutely.
Golden
that is
boulder.
a golden boulder moment.
You got your helmet? No? Okay.
We should have the helmets. But I love this because it feels not just that you're handing them the power, but at the same time, they're lowering their barriers. Because it's just so unheard of. It feels like it's so unheard of that they were probably expecting, oh, this guy, I'm coming into a sales call, they're going to try to push me into a sale. But by giving them the decision of like, hey, what are we going to do next? Immediately it's like, whoa, this is, it doesn't go with the narrative that they had in their head. And now they're questioning things and they're like, why is this person asking me this? Am I ready? They start asking that question to themselves. Am I ready to move forward? No, I need to know X, Y, and Z. And like you said, they start opening up. I feel it just lowers the barriers for the conversation.
Yes, because they're coming with their guard up and we have what we call sales armor on. The armor to protect us from the battle. So both of us are teed up, ready for this. And that starts at hello. And unless you're aware of that and you know how to diffuse that pressure and re-engage at a level of trust, well, here it comes, here's the bomb, they have to feel that you actually care about them.
Yeah.
And they can
not just a sale.
Yeah. And they can only feel like that if you actually care for them at the end of the day, right?
When your expression of your tonality, of your languaging, of your mindset has to convey to them, we aren't here for me. We're here to focus on your problem, not my solution.
Yeah.
And that's the shift we'll talk about today. We'll talk about this whole, what I call doctor-patient relationship mindset, where they've got a problem, you've got a solution. The doctor, what they do when you go see a doctor, they diagnose your problem. They don't try to become your friend. They don't even try to build a relationship with you. And it's funny, I'm working on a new bumper sticker right now, and it's going to say, doctors don't do coffee.
Yes.
Because, see, we're so used to the, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Great. Where are you from? Oh, see, we're so used to the whole rapport building, laid in thick. They don't want to become your friend. They just want you to solve their problem. But we're so conditioned the old way to put all this stuff into the conversation, they know it's fake anyways.
Wow. That is it. Oh, that is so interesting. I'm going through my head and I'm like, you know, I'm not going to lie. I'm a very friendly person. I feel like we both are. And we do love to connect with the people on the other side of usually a Zoom call. right? And we're like, oh, I love what you have in the background right there. I noticed you have the Porsche book back there. So I'm curious now, how do you start that moment? If, he's coming from the mindset, the other person might be coming from the mindset of, let's get this over with. Like, you don't need to build this type of rapport with me because I know you're trying to sell me. How do we start the conversation then on the basis of we want to build trust? We don't want to sell, we want to build trust.
Great question. You guys are super smart questions. Now, the first thing I will mention is you don't have to change who you are. You can still keep your personality. This is about being authentic with people, not about adding stuff to it that doesn't fit. So stay who you are. All we're saying is become aware of how you're being perceived to people, okay? And adjust to that. So here, I'll give you two scenarios. One scenario is an outbound call. If anyone on your listening here does outbound prospecting, maybe some, maybe don't. Here's how you begin the call our way. Okay, the normal way is what? Hi, my name is, I'm with, we are a, you have a couple minutes, how are you today? That's the typical way of doing it, right?
Yeah. And then straight to voicemail.
Like, and when you hear that, you're like, it's over at hello, right?
Yeah.
It's over. Because the brain shuts down. You know what it is, sales call.
Yeah.
So here's how we do it. If you know the person's name. Hi, John. My name's Ari, and here it comes. I'm hoping you can help me out for a moment.
I love that.
And human nature, when you ask for help, is going to say, how can I help you? That's called a two-way dialogue at hello for people trying to make outbound calls. And then from there, you flow into what I call the problem perspective, where you say, I'm just giving you a call to see if you'd be open. Notice the word open, not interested. If you'd be open to some different ideas and insights on ways to deal with the issues of, and you plug in a problem that you solve. You don't talk about your solution, you focus on their problem. That's the whole shift here. The whole shift here is you do not have permission to talk about your company or your solutions until you unpack their problem. It's like the doctor doesn't prescribe the medicine until after he does an x-ray to identify what the problem is. The same metaphor here. And now that's the one scenario. Yeah. The other scenario, let's just say you have a funnel, right? A Facebook funnel or something. You have leads coming in off a webinar or whatever it is, and you end up on a one-on-one call with a possible client, which is a common model these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And you have the first call with someone who's a lead, a qualified lead, and you get on the line with them. Here's what usually happens. Hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Great. Hey, what did you enjoy about the webinar? Really? Okay, great. Look, it was nice to meet you. Here's a plan today. The plan is I'm going to walk you through. We do this whole kind of like preamble to the call. It's like the funny, like there's all this thing. And then not see, they know right away it's being set up for a sales call when you say that.
Yeah.
Here's how we do it, okay? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. If it's okay with you, asking permission. If it's okay with you, can we start with you sharing with me a little bit about your situation, about your journey, your story, and your current business challenges, and we'll go from there.
Wow. What a difference.
That's the doctor saying, where does it hurt?
Yeah.
What a difference. I can feel it on this side, honestly. As you are sharing this, I'm literally just imagining the sales calls that I've had and literally starting with like, hey, this is what we're going to do today. And honestly, that's because that's how we've learned, right? And I'm not going to lie. I haven't felt like bad saying it that way because, again, like my brother said, like we know we can really help them. But I really enjoy the way you're putting it, right? Saying, if it's okay with you. Just asking for permission right there. I feel like the other person immediately off the bat, they feel that they're being taken into consideration instead of I'm just on this call for the ride and see what's gonna happen. Right now we're both talking here. It's a two-way communication instead of just us trying to dig the information out of them.
Yeah. All right. For the record, go ahead. Sorry.
Here's the thing. We all love what we do. We're passionate about it. We're so passionate, we can't wait to tell everybody about it. The problem is If they don't know or trust you yet, and you start with your passion, what are they thinking? Oh boy.
Here we go again.
Another one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't be passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is start the process about them and not about you.
Yeah. I love how this, I mean, at the end of the day, are you like, just be a nice person, right? Like, let's listen first. By the way, I agree 100%. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate for that last one, right? So,
Sure.
If they go through funnel, they've consumed your content, they believe you, right? Like at some level they trust because they've been consuming your material for a long time. They read your book, right? And they get this. And they went through all the filters, right? So isn't it fair to start the call assuming that they already trust you because they've been already indoctrinated and they are the ones taking action to get on that call, right? So isn't it fair to start it that way? Because I had that question as you were telling that story in my head. I'm like, okay, but is it that too egotistical, right? Is that how you say? Is it ego talking? Is my ego talking like in that situation, or am I assuming wrong? Even though they've consumed and they're like probably already there in the decision making process because they already trust us because of the testimonials they've seen, they consumed all of it, right? And they're like, I'll go because I'm ready to buy, right? Have you encountered obviously that situation? Is it the same scenario? What do we do?
Making assumptions is the problem.
Yes.
Just because they consumed your content, loved your video, loved your content, loved this, loved your book, loved everything in the mail, whatever you sent to them, whatever on email, when they show up on that call, you start from the beginning.
Yes.
You do a diagnostic process and diagnose their problem. The minute you make assumptions, what happens is you start slipping back in the sales mode because you assume they're going to buy, and you start talking about your stuff. You're like, yeah, hey, baby, let's do this thing.
And they're like, nope.
The guy's like, wait. I'm not ready to spend any money yet. I still want to. See, now you're like the back foot trying to catch back up again.
Yeah.
So when you, no matter where they come from, when they show up on that phone call, you start from the beginning of trust building.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you for that, because we've talked for so long. I mean, this is what, episode 193, and obviously the content like itself, we've noticed it with people that come into our world, right? There's a level there, but at the same time, we still have to work on that relationship. It's like when you get married, that's just the start of that relationship. You're like, you gotta keep working on that relationship forever and ever, right? Like, and Katie, this is director. Katie's my wife, so Katie, this is for you. I love you. But it is, and I love it. I love that you mentioned making assumptions is the problem. Never assume, right? And never with content, because that's the start of the process, right? Never with the calls, and I love it. It's one big thing.
It reminds me of the saying. Let me see if I remember it, but it's expectations are uncommunicated commitment, something like that. It's an uncommunicated commitment, right? This sounds very similar. An assumption, making assumptions is a problem because you are the only one that is, making that assumption, right? So you, in your mind, you already committed to that sale happening when the other person haven't told you yet. And what comes to mind relating it now to the marketing side of things is that a lot of the marketing that I'm seeing for a lot of people, that when we talk to them, they're just assuming things about their audience instead of let's have an actual conversation, listen to their problems, and then we create our marketing around that. But everybody, I see it a lot since the very beginning of the marketing journey of a company. They're like, oh, let's create our customer avatar. What do they consume? And they start just writing things down, right? And I understand the exercise of trying to put yourself in your client's shoes. But what if you go out there, ask them, and then you fill up the sheet, right? And then it's easier to be in your client's shoes because now you have them actually communicate you that. You're not just assuming all these things. So I think that is so important. And I feel like people are afraid sometimes of having these conversations, of not just that. I feel like they're afraid of letting go of assumptions. They might discover something. I don't know. But yeah, how can maybe they move forward and have more of these conversations? How can they just Communication is the word here. I feel like communication is key for everything.
Look. When we're at home with our family and kids, usually we are ourselves and authentic. When we get to work and business, we change who we are. We make assumptions.
Yeah.
Where we're so conditioned from the old sales gurus and what we believe selling is that we just jump in and start our process without considering the other person. And you're right, there's a gap. So if I'm saying, let go of the sale. Don't focus on the next step. Because see, we listen to somebody, but we're already on the next step in the back of our mind. We're like, oh, it's good. He's gonna buy. Oh yeah. See, we're already over here, and we're not what I call 100% present with people. And they know right away when they can tell you're not connected to them. You want your prospective clients on the phone calls, wherever, to say to themselves, he just gets me. He understands me. You know that when you meet somebody like a party, you're like, oh my God, he just gets me.
Yeah.
That's what real trust is. And here, I'm going to drop a bomb right now. Ready for the big bomb?
They go the boulder. Let's go. We're ready.
I tell my clients, and here it comes, to stop building relationships with people in your sales conversations. You build it with them after the sale, not before the sale. Trust building and relationship building can be mutually exclusive.
Yes.
Wow.
They don't have to like and know you to buy from you. They don't have to like another doctor to solve the problem. See, we think they have to like us and know us. We're like, hey, how's it going? Talk to you next week. See, when you cross social norms and business norms, you mess the whole thing up. Now it's all relationship based and business based. It's all confusing.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you can have bedside manner. You can be warm and empathetic. You don't have to be cold and mean. But I'm just trying to tell you that don't attempt to build a relationship with someone anymore pre-sale. Only focus on their problem. All they want is their problem solved. They don't want to become your friend. Be their friend after they're a client, not before.
Yeah.
There's so many thoughts racing to my head right now with this.
Before you take the highway with your thoughts, I want to share a story like on this and making assumptions, right? And what you mentioned about the research. We've been part of this event called Startup Weekend as a participant and as mentors, right? So as participants, it was like right after college, right? And I don't know if you are familiar with that event, but a quick summary of the event, like you come in on a Friday night and you have to build a business, a full-on business with a prototype ready by Sunday night, right? Like it's very quick and there's a lot of judges and there's prize money and a chance to be, to have an investment, right? So I remember as a participant, the first thing they ask you to write all these ideas of your business on a board, right? People vote and then you form this team. And then they go, your very next activity is go out and do market research. What are the problems that people are experiencing about this thing? And it's literally go to the street, to the mall, to the store. What's there? Where do you think your clients are? Where is that place? And go there and ask a ton of questions. And then with that information, that's how we're going to build this product, right? And that to me, first off, was terrifying because at the time I was like, do I have to talk to people? I thought we were just going to build something. I was like, what? But at the end of the day, like it was incredible because so many initial ideas shift massively because of the answers that we're getting. Apart from assumption, right? Because we assume that our business is going to be incredible. It's going to be this great solution because maybe we had that issue, but we're not tackling others. And then we get these answers and then the entire business completely changes, even the concept, right? And then we end up with this beautiful thing, right? So that is a very intensive process there. But also, we've experienced it with our content, like not just with our content, with our process and our service, right? With Content Momentum. It started as one thing 5 years ago, and it's completely shifted into what it is now, thanks to the feedback of current customers, people that we've talked to, and every single day that's a conversation that we're not afraid to ask anymore because it's just going to help us there. So I love that now we're putting this in the context of the selling side of things because it's so needed. And sometimes we do it as a market research, but at the end of the day, it's like it's the sell is an element to growing a business. It's a very key element. So it needs to happen. So that's just the observation I wanted to have to paint the picture on this like two stages that people tend to see as different ones.
Yeah. Yes. So Ari, I'm gonna if you don't mind, I'm gonna go into the highway. My brother mentioned, right? These thoughts are just eating me up inside, Ari. But the first one is you talk about letting go of the sale, and I've heard that we got the dog by here. It's like kicking the light all over.
We got a third host over here.
We've been in the position where we've heard this before of you gotta let go of the sale because the person on the other side can either smell it or even taste it sometimes. Or like, whoa, this is too much. Go away. But we're also been in the position where you really need that sale, right? And one of the most beautiful things about entrepreneurship and sales that I feel we've experienced is the mindset shift, right? It's a mindset game. There's one of our favorite quotes is your business grows to the extent that you do. So you're always in this infinite game of growth. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have just easy moments, right? Like there's going to be plenty of challenges. And one of those is sometimes you feel the need for making a sale, right? Because maybe your team depends on it, right? Paying your team, or maybe you yourself depend on that sale. So how can people in that place operate? How can they let go of the feeling of, I need this sale?
So we're not saying don't be ambitious, don't have goals, don't drive your team forward. Of course, stay on that track of success.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is let that come from you to the customer in your conversation. You got to stop before it gets there. And how you do it is, if you understand that if you focus only on their problems, you'll be 10 times more successful if you try to sell your solution first. Meaning, see, most companies, they have a huge pipeline of leads. They're chasing opportunities, and they're focusing only on how much they're making. Yeah. Well, they don't realize how much they're losing. It's the 80-20 rule, right? So 20%, hey, we're doing great. But they realize they lost 80% because they were burning those leads, selling the old way. Yeah. So all I'm saying, you hop over this side of the fence and you focus on this goal. You'll make so much more money doing this. You'll be like, oh my God, we lost so much.
Yeah. It's, well, I'm not gonna lie, like it's tough. It has been tough sometimes when I find myself in that situation. And I remember a very clear one, honestly. I was talking to this lady, and she was telling me how she was using content and what she wanted with content, right? And I feel like I did a decent job at first of listening to her, right? And understanding where she was coming from. But this is when I realized I didn't do enough dig in the problem, that I really didn't understand where she was coming from, because I jumped in to offer a solution that was way higher than what she could afford, right? And by me making that recommendation in the first place, clearly you can see that I'm not listening to where she is at right now and what kind of investment makes sense for her. So when she told me no, I immediately started kind of like downselling. I was like, oh, well, if that one doesn't work, I got this one. And then she's like, no. And I was like, oh, we got this other one, right? And I could tell on her face and on inside of me, like, this just devastated me. And then it destroyed my sales confidence for the rest of that call, right? I even felt a little bit embarrassed, not gonna lie. But I could see in her face the change of the expression from, oh, this guy's listening to me, to, oh, this guy's just trying to sell me, right? And I was like, wow, that was devastating.
Yeah, see, you were in sales mode, not trust building mode.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And the other thought that I had, right, was, you said stop building relationships before the sale, right? And I put here, trust building is different than relationship building. Now, we come from the world of content, right? The show's called Content is Profit, and
really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Last time I checked, it's still called that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Ari, I've a lot of people, right? Actually, yesterday I was on this thing called a Twitter chat, right? And they put some questions in there, and then there's a lot of people commenting and giving their opinions. The question was about relationship marketing. Literally, it was the whole topic of the Twitter chat: relationship marketing, and how can you build relationships through content. It wasn't named trust building through content. It was relationship building through content. And most people, I feel like they do believe that you need to build that relationship before somebody actually buys from you, right? Especially now.
On the content side,
Yep.
before you actually have a real call with someone, there are two separate things. One is pre-marketing, lead generation, content creation. That does create a connection between you and the audience because obviously the content connects to them. That's cool. I'm all good with that. It's the point when you go from there to an actual human-to-human conversation where the whole thing falls down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that you made that division, right? Like, because mentally is needed. Like, okay, if I'm in content mode, perfect. Let's build a relationship. Once we pass that threshold, that's it, man. Like it's game on, and we gotta listen. We gotta understand. Let's not assume.
Yeah, it goes back to what you were mentioning exactly. Don't make assumptions. Once you are on the call, you start from the beginning.
Yeah,
exactly.
So incredible.
I know. I feel like, correct me here, but I feel like we've only covered one of the principles. You said diffusing pressure, right? How many principles are there?
There's like one or two more, but I got 5 minutes left. So maybe if you want, we can wrap things up with a couple of the ideas.
We can actually, where can people
find
go
the rest
and find these ones? Because we want them to connect with you, right? We want them to feel Ari's trust, right? And go into your world and obviously buy the book and connect with you and everything in your world. So where can they find more about this?
Best place to go to is unlockthegame.com. Just like it sounds, unlockthegame.com. Or find me up on the socials, Ari Galper. We'll connect you to there. But I've got a free course. You can go deep into this, get some new ideas with it at my Unlock the Game website. And we also have a complimentary consultation with us and our team. And this will be fun if you want to try it because there's going to be no sales pitch, no next step, and no presentation. So you can see what it's like in real time and learn from us.
Yes. Let's go, guys. Go to the link. It's going to be right below. All you got to do is scroll down, hit that button, and get in Ari's world. Like this has been incredible, Ari. So 2 last questions as we wrap up the show. 1, no action point, obviously go to your site, but from like, what will be something else that they can do today to start getting that momentum, whether it's sales or content?
It's actually what they should not do.
Yes.
Ooh.
And I'll give you one more bomb before we end today. Okay, here it comes.
Let's do it.
All right. You got the buzzer ready?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
I'm going to ask all your listeners and viewers to remove one key phrase forever from their vocabulary as of today. And here it comes. If you've been selling for a long time, this might hurt just a bit. All right, here it comes.
All right, let's go. We're ready.
I'm going to ask you never again to use the phrase follow-up ever again as of today. Never call someone and say, hi, I'm calling to follow up. I'm writing an email to follow up. What's the only industry in the world that uses the word follow up?
Sales.
Sales. And you are, you want to be nice and heart-centered, but your languaging screams, hi, I'm calling to move things where?
Forward.
Yep.
There's a few more classic ones too, like I'm giving you a call to touch base. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Or check-in. These are all 1980s. We still use this stuff, and I mean today it's crazy. So here's what you say instead. You say, "I'm giving you a call to see if you have any feedback on our previous conversation, any feedback on our last meeting, any feedback on the ideas we had." See, feedback's going away from the sale, not towards the sale. When you go the opposite direction of where they expect you to go, we create an open space.
Love it.
Where they feel they can trust you.
All right, thank you.
Wow. I love that. That last moment where this was such a philosophical way to put it. When you go a different way that they are expecting, you create the space for trust to be built. That is, whew.
Great image.
Wow.
I think Fonzie needed this. Yeah,
I needed this so much, Ari.
Honest,
thank you so much.
Everybody. Yeah, all right, thank you. Last question of the show. You've been publishing for quite a while. You're a published author. You now are in the podcasting circuit, right? Like, where would you be if you did not publish?
No, publishing is everything. It's what gets your message out there. It's what makes an impact. I've been focused for 20 years on publishing the message. I've got, of course, my book, Unlock the Sales Guide. I got a new one coming out next year called The One call sale.
Cannot wait. Let's go.
How to compress your sales cycle to one call versus multiple steps, which would be a huge breakthrough for people.
Yes.
And so, publishing is everything, and content is key. As long as your content is about the problem that you solve, not pitching your solution.
Yes.
Love it. This deserves this one, Ari.
The horns out,
Yes.
man. All right, man, this has been incredible. Thank you for coming on. Is there any last thoughts you want to share with us before we head different ways?
I would just say one last thing. And, all my stuff's very contrarian. And here it comes. Stop selling. Build trust instead.
Love it.
That's right. Stop selling, people. Fonzie, stop selling.
I know. Thank you so much, Ari.
It's going to be printed in his forehead. And on my forehead as well.
Sounds
yes. Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you. With that said, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. And if today's guest helped you move one step closer to your goal, which we are sure he did, please don't forget to share this episode with somebody else and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.